Hey there, everyone. Gavin Stone here. We're going to wrap up Otherworlds Austin with the creator of the madness, mayhem, madcap fun that this has been.
Paris Fonte? Or you want me to
Where's
say?
your real name?
No, not technically, but
See-
it is the only name I go by now.
Yeah, Gavin's not my real name. It's the only name I go by, too. We all have, like, secret identities up here. We're like, yeah, no, you'll never know.
In fact, when somebody calls me by my real name, I don't even turn around anymore. So I'm quite
no.
proud of that.
When I hear my real name, I know they mean business because they know me. It's like,
That's when they use your middle name as well. That's reserved for mothers.
Yeah, like I was in a store the other day and someone said my name. I was like, who the hell is that? And my childhood friend. Hadn't seen her since I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, how do you remember me? I don't even remember you, okay? It's one of those things. So, Otherworlds Austin has been a real surprise for me. Like, honestly, I expected B-level movies kind of ho-hum because I've been to a lot of festivals where it's kind of been that way. You pulled off a really good job, dude.
Thank you so much.
Now, it might be because I understand you're used to being in the film festival circuit.
Yeah, I came to this from Austin Film Festival. I was director of programming over there since 2012, and so I know what you can do with film festivals and the kind of quality of films that are out there. And then also I went around most of I went to about 30 film festivals the last couple of years.
That's a lot of damn film festivals.
Yeah,
That's like one a week.
Well, I had my own film. It was a sci-fi short, so I got to go to a lot of films.
What was it called?
It was called The Secret Keeper.
How come it's not in this film? This one?
Well, because that would be obnoxious. So actually, technically, I already played Austin because it played at the Austin Film Festival.
Yeah, but this is your film festival. You didn't put your own film in it to like
No.
rig the judge. Okay, vote for the some little messages. Vote for my film to win.
Well, I didn't want to give up a spot for one of these other great filmmakers.
Which amazing filmmakers so far. We've interviewed a whole bunch of them. Austin Hoar's interviewed a whole bunch of them. But when you think about a film festival, that's a lot of work that goes into it. And you're doing this for a living going, you know what? I could do this on my own.
Well, there were so many great science fiction films that I got to see that weren't getting a chance to play Austin. So maybe, Fantastic Fest didn't pick them up, or Austin Film Festival didn't pick them up, or they just they didn't even know that there was an outlet. And then, Austin is such a great sci-fi town. It really is like the geek capital of the world.
I love being in Austin. It's so much fun.
I mean, so the crowd is here, and they're really hungry for material. So I just wanted to create an outlet so that those filmmakers could come and share their work with people who would be really appreciative.
And when I talk about some of the amazing films, you got Time Lapse, which was amazing. Bloody Knuckles, which was my favorite. I
Awesome.
freaking love Bloody Knuckles. The Reconstruction of William Zero, I was completely shocked how much I love that movie because it's, more of a thinking movie. And I don't think, obviously, I like my explosions and blood and car chases and gunfights,
It's a very smart movie that, it's really like an indie drama that just happens to be a sci-fi film,
Yeah, and I loved the fact I was like, wait, there's two of them? Wait a second. Okay, hold on. What's happening? And then I was like, yeah, it was great. Great
Awesome.
deal of fun.
Yeah.
How did you find some of these movies? Like, did you just be like, hey, I got this festival going on. Come over here. Because literally I expected, made-for-TV sci-fi movies.
Well, we did a lot of research. We had a big programming team. We had 6 people who were working on programming the festival for the last 6 months. And we looked at all the other festivals in the country and really the world that were playing any sort of science fiction material. And just reading synopsises and reaching out to filmmakers and saying, hey, we'd like to check out your film. It sounds kind of interesting. It played London Sci-Fi. That's at least a legitimate festival, so it must be decent.
Not like OhioCon 15.
No.
Hidden in a back room corner. Yeah.
I'm sure we got some of those too, just through submissions. But the ones that that we found, that we reached out to, like this film that's actually playing right now as we're standing here, Capsule, is a fantastic Dutch film that played in theaters in the Netherlands, but nowhere else. It hasn't played anywhere international. And I found it because it played the Imagine Film Festival, which is the Dutch sci-fi fantasy horror film festival, and it only played there. And I was like, wow, that's really amazing. Why isn't that played here?
Is there any movie that you really wanted that just didn't get to work out in time?
It's funny. There's one movie that we didn't find out about until right after we announced the program, which would have been perfect. It's called Call Girl of Cthulhu.
What?
Exactly. We found out about it
Call Girl Cthulhu.
Right. And I'm kind of into kind of trashy, campy, sleazy kind of stuff too.
I can tell.
It's fun. And Cthulhu is sort of our honorary mascot. He's on our poster and everything. So we're hoping that we'll be able to bring that for a year-round event sometime this year.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
But it's a great film, and it's really it's kind of low budget, but it's fun. It's a campy sort of, and there's just not enough Lovecraftian drama being made nowadays. So
I wonder why, because it's Cthulhu and Lovecraftian stuff has just been exploding. There's Cthulhu versions of pretty much any board game and anything out there. But there's no movies. Why do you think that is?
I think having to create the effects of a giant monster that is like the size of a skyscraper, sort of frightening, for a filmmaker.
Have they not seen Pacific Rim or any of the other giant monster movies like Godzilla or anything else?
Well, yeah, I think Hollywood could do it, but the problem with Cthulhu is you're sort of having to cheer for the bad guy. I mean, if you're gonna make a Cthulhu movie, you don't want to make a movie where people rise up and defeat Cthulhu. That's not the point. The point is that Cthulhu wins. He's unbeatable. So.
I will tell you, I was totally expecting Cthulhu at the end of Cabin in the Woods.
He's probably in one of those little chambers when they go down on one of those floors.
The hand came out and I was like, where's the tentacles? Oh, there's no tentacles? Oh, come on now. How are you going to do a perfect movie and not have Cthulhu in it?
Yeah, totally.
That was my one kind of push. So, what kind of success level have you found this year doing this? Like, is everyone just totally into it, obviously?
Well, it's been really great because one of the reasons I wanted to do it was for the fans and give them an excuse to come together and talk and, meet filmmakers, but also meet each other because this sci-fi is such a great, tight-knit community. Mm-hmm. And so that's been really rewarding to meet them and get to hear what they like about the fans. But if you want to just get right down to the basics of it, I mean, we sold out. So that was pretty exciting. We had to add another theater and add wristbands, which allowed us to add more films, which was even better. So, and even then we sold out again. So we just sold out today.
See, that's an awesome way to go. What have you learned doing it from this year that you want to improve on or add for next year?
I think it's going to be about trying to do more promotion about the individual films ahead of time so that people, have choices in their mind and give them more trailers and things like that. Just more stuff you can find out about the film before you arrive and that sort of thing. Get people excited. And then, we're sort of looking at what next year's going to be, how it's going to grow. I mean, are we going to do some retrospectives? Are we going to add more theaters? Are we going to make the festival longer?
Show some classic sci-fi, maybe.
Yeah. There's a lot of great stuff that's actually in public domain that would be fun to see on the big screen, or an old silent film, with a score or something like that somebody does. There's all sorts of great ideas that you can do. It's just a question of where we do them and whether we have sponsors. We're looking at, after our first year, you kind of have to just kind of go out on your own, and then after that you can say, here's what we did, now give us some money. So
we have a proof of concept, and it was a success. We had great movies. Now we want your monies.
Exactly. And also just, I'd love to find some good sponsors just because I think that the fans would benefit from having a really great sponsor, that they could interact with them. Some very scientifically themed sponsor. I don't know who it would be, but the Sci-Fi Channel, for example.
Sci-Fi Channel, that's going back to doing the Sci-Fi Channel, and they're not going to be crazy offshoot whatever they are now.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I used to love the Sci-Fi Channel, and then they kind of went into the...
It's the Sharknado Channel now, actually.
Yeah, the Sharknado Channel. Oh, my God. You should totally have, a whole festival of bad made-for-sci-fi TV movies, because, they'd be grown-worthy.
I know the guy who wrote Piranhaconda.
Oh, no. What were you smoking that day?
Well, I think he was smoking his paycheck.
He's like, yep.
But no, I think even it would be fun to have a film like that, even just because that's the thing I love about sci-fi is that fans, they're hungry for all sorts of material, so they can value it on different levels. They can go for a real intellectual drama like Reconstruction of William Zero, and they can really enjoy a silly movie like Space Milkshake, which are, the two, I think, distant
Very
points of our
opposites.
festival. So,
like when I tell people about Bloody Knuckles, I'm like, it's an intelligent trauma film.
Exactly.
And I know I was hooked when the kid's eyes exploded in the first 5 minutes. I was like, I'm done. This movie's for me.
Yeah, or the hand that's sort of going up the guy's backside, and you're like, ooh, where is it going?
I liked when the hand was drawing the naughty cartoons to make fun of the cartoonist.
Yes. It was a really funny film, and that was one that, we try to show all sorts of variety of science fiction, so that's a film that is sort of horror, it's sort of comedy, but it lives in this world. It's, technology with unintended consequences. That's kind of how I look at it. That's what makes it sci-fi. But, we try to get every kind of science fiction into the festival so that people can see, just how detailed and varied the genre is.
Yeah, everyone that we've met so far, audience and filmmakers, have just been fantastically excited. Some of them didn't know that Austin is such a hot spot for things like this. Like this festival, Fantastic Fest, something's always going on in Texas. And they're discovering new things, and they're really liking it. I was like, well, I hope next year this thing just gets bigger and better and more fun and more movies like Bloody Knuckles, because Bloody Knuckles 2, The Revenge of whatever.
Well, if they make that, we will program it.
Okay. But if you do it close to Thanksgiving, you have to do a screening of Thanksgiving, because that is the ultimate Thanksgiving movie ever.
I do not think I've seen that, so I'm going to have to...
What?
Is it on Netflix?
It used to be. It's about a demon turkey that gets resurrected, and it's a horrible puppet. And yeah,
that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
Don't watch Thanksgiving 3 though, because it's a horrible movie. Because they didn't do 2, and Thanksgiving 3 is about him trying to figure out what happened in 2, and it just totally derailed what happened in 1. So act like 3 doesn't exist.
Okay.
Just watch Thanksgiving, and you'll thank me later. You'll be like, oh, Fanboy TV, I effing hate you, man.
But do watch Leprechaun 6 or whatever it is.
I cannot watch this. How have you not killed that little bastard
I don't know, but I just found out that one of our filmmakers had made one
did
of the Leprechaun
Back
movies.
To the Ghetto. I was like,
That's the most ridiculous one. Good for him.
I don't know. I always think when you go to space, like, it worked for Jason, though.
Yes.
Jason in space was hilarious. I don't care what anybody says. Cyborg Jason.
All slashers should go to space, I think, at one point in time, yes. Have it on their resume.
Who would be the worst slasher in space, though?
Probably Freddy, because he's got those knives, and like, so it would be hard for him
Maybe
to
like lightsabers,
right?
Dark side, you know, yeah.
They'd be magnetized. They'd be like getting attached to things and stuff like that.
That'd be
maybe,
hilarious.
yeah. Then you just flip on the matter.
He floats around and does stuff. I'd like to see Leatherface in space because he'd be wearing alien skin instead. Maybe he'd have like a light beam chainsaw, like from Tron, going on.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
I would totally watch that film. So great job on the festival.
Thank you so
We've had
much.
a great time with
Yeah.
it. We look forward to being out here next year.
Absolutely.
Like I said, Bloody Knuckles. You can't top Bloody Knuckles.
We will try to find another movie just like that for you next year.
Time Lapse was really good too, but Bloody Knuckles, man, that was the first one I watched. And I was like, movie you have to see, Bloody Knuckles, because literally it is vulgar and hilarious.
It'll be out on home video, I think, in 4 or 5 months, so people will be able to get it.
Yeah.
I know they already have a deal, so.
Yes, excellent. What is the one secret about this festival you'd like to share with everybody?
I made the website myself. I spent hours.
I made it myself.
Hours and hours on it, like literally like a month working.
You didn't just throw
9
the WordPress
hours
site
of it.
and
No,
go,
no. So that's that's you can always do anything if the only person you're counting on is you. You know, if no one else has your time. So that was like, well, that's what I'm going to do. You know, and I built it entirely like before I told anybody we were going to have a festival. So that was like.
Yeah, I found out, like 4 or 5 months ago, and I emailed Don over there, and I was like, hey, we want to come cover. He goes, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was about when we first started. I mean,
I don't remember how I discovered it. I think it was, like, listed on the Facebook, something or other, and I typed in other, and it's like, Otherworld's Austin. I was like, what the hell is that?
What was the idea, I had back in October, I think, of last year is when I first started thinking about it. But after I left...
Wait, so it's been like only a year since you've really been
even had the idea. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, you must be really good at what you do.
I left Austin Film Festival in January, so then I took a couple months to talk to some people and put a team together. And then really we launched in May was when we first officially said we're going to do a film festival.
So you're going to go back to working for other film festivals now, or are you completely
No, this is
spoiled?
it. This is
it, man.
I like being in charge. But I do a lot of juries for other film festivals, and I do consulting for film festivals. So the Greenwich International Film Festival, which is going to make its debut in June of next year, I'm their programming consultant. So I'm helping them launch their festival.
So you're not like telling them, okay, you need this bad movie, and I'm going to take these good ones over here.
No, because they're what they're looking for is entirely different than what I'd be.
Like,
they're into like social justice movies. So
really?
yeah.
Where's the fun in that?
I know.
You're like, yeah, I'm going to go back and watch some trauma films, man.
Exactly.
So, yes, thanks for the great time. We've had an excellent time. I love the movies, and we'll see you next year.
Awesome. Thank you, Gavin.